My name's Owen Morgan. I'm one day in T20 England captain. There are 3 categories of player in the team. The B1 players are completely blind. B2 players have very restricted sight. And B3s are partially sighted but less impaired than B2s.
It's a white plastic ball with ball bearings in, so you can hear it as well as see it. Secondly, the ball is bowled underarm and it has to touch 2 sides of the pitch.
So before we start, I'm going to need some tips. So who better to ask than Hassan Khan, England player. Hassan, give me your best tips on what I'll need for the next training session.
I would say listening is top of that list. It is crucial. Concentration is vital as well. Communication is another one.
Really, where everything's blurred and you can't see a great deal. So this could really be interesting.
पाकिस्तान की ब्लाइंड क्रिकेट टीम की है अक्सा आरिफ
स्टॉर्म डनफोर्ड।
अपने लिए तो सब ही जीते हैं इस जहां में, है जिंदगी का मकसद औरों के काम।
Greetings and salutations, this is Hassan Khan and I'm joining you from a rather chilly, crispy, cold London town. Now, if you know London as well as I do, then this should not surprise you. After all, we are into our early summer. I hope you enjoyed that introduction. That obviously featured our winning World Cup captain Owen Morgan describing how international blind cricket works, and that is what we're going to be focusing on today. However, before I do that, I really must thank a few people. I must thank Metro Blind Sport and the CEO Martin Simcox for supporting me through these interviews, and also Sol Win, who has been putting up with my editing and then putting it up on YouTube. Thank you so much, guys. Now, I do put about 6 or 7 hours worth of work into these interviews, so it really is appreciated when you like and comment on our interviews, and so far the feedback has been truly fantastic. And as I said, we will be focusing on international blind cricket today, not just any old international blind cricket, but women's international blind cricket, because this is a game that is growing around the world. We've got teams in Nepal, Pakistan, England, the West Indies, Australia, and India. And if we are missing any countries, then do please comment and do let us know. We'll be happy to talk to you. I'm so pleased this is happening. I definitely think we should be talking about it. I think we should endorse it. And I definitely think there should be more dialogue between teams, particularly in the blind world, because look, we're all seeking the same dream. You know, when I'm playing in World Cups and what have you, and I talk to the opposition, I really find my personal game improving. But not only that, I find that they respect me more and there is a lot more banter. Well, without further ado, why don't we go over to our guests? And first up is Storme Dunford. Not only is she one of the most level-headed teenagers playing the game of blind cricket, she actually happens to be one of the youngest women playing in the UK VI ladies team. And she is joined by her father, Gary Dunford, who is the manager of Surrey VI team in the UK. And then, about 3,858 miles away as the crow flies, we find our last guest, and that is Aqsa Arif, who joins me live from Pakistan, Multan. Now, Aqsa is a B1 player who plays for the Pakistani blind women's team, and they played their first series against Nepal. England have also played against Nepal and the West Indies more recently. Now, this is definitely not biased, but Aqsa happens to be actually born and bred in Multan, which is the same city as I was born and bred in, and I bet you haven't heard of it, but I discovered her on YouTube. Anyways, enough of my chat, let's go over to them. How are you guys?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, good. And today you're being joined by not only one of the youngest England women's blind cricketers in Storme Dunford, but also her guardian and her protector, Gary Dunford, her father. Hi, guys.
Hey.
Hi, Has. How you doing?
Yeah, good. So, to all of you, I mean, before we go on to cricket and Storm's GCSE results, which he's waiting for, how's lockdown been treating you?
Yeah,
Tough, really kind of, because I've finished school, so I've had some prep work from college to do, but it's just kind of been a lot of waiting around, not doing very much.
Brilliant. Any thoughts of what colleges you're going to go to?
I'm hoping to go to Farnborough Sixth Form, and yeah, that's quite close.
What do you want to study?
Law, politics, and drama.
Oh, I think I should move on to Aqsa now. Okay. Now, and Aqsa, how about you? How's lockdown treating you down there in Multan?
Here in Multan, everything is locked down. We are locked in our homes. We are not allowed to go out without any reason. Here, only grocery shops are opened, and I am staying at home, reading lots of books, doing some cooking channels, making some new recipes.
Wow. So how have you been reading? I mean, so in the UK, we have the RNIB, Royal Institute for the Blind, who send out audiobooks and braille books. How does it work in Pakistan?
No, not at all. Here we use, I use like the online book which are available. I use PDFs, and here we can use open book reader. I just scan my documents, I just scan them, and then I just read through all the documents with the help of the software called open book reader.
Open book reader, yeah. I do want to talk about cricket, just to paint you a picture. I first met Gary and Storm at Surrey. I think Storm was bowling to me with 3 or 4 bounces, and last year she was bowling shoulder height 1 bounce, and that's how much she's grown up. As I was explaining to you, Aqsa, before, our domestic game is different to your domestic game, and that's where Gary comes in. Gary, would you mind explaining how our domestic game is different to the international game?
Yeah, sure. So I think some of the major differences is the balls are size 3 football, and it's bowled overarm, as you would normally see in a red ball cricket match. And I think that's pretty much most of the differences. Stump's slightly bigger, batsman's half out, 1 bounce to catch someone. But I think the major difference is the ball and the overarm. I think some people prefer it because it's in a way more like a cricket. You have more cricket shots, and if you're walking around the boundary watching it, for spectators, it looks more like a cricket game. What do you think, Storm? Would you agree?
Yeah, I do prefer this one.
You prefer this one? Okay, fine. And how it all started was, I don't know, about 8 years ago, I took Storm and her sister to our local cricket club for nets. They both did really well. And Storm loved it, and the person said, are you sure she's blind? She's doing really well. I said, well, yeah, she is. So we started looking at this thing called blind cricket. Never heard it. Well, I'd heard a little bit about it, and that was it, just the name. The nearest place was about 60 miles away. So as chairman of a local club, I contacted Surrey, because we're in a Surrey club, and it just so happened that they were at the time also trying to set up a blind cricket team because they had the other disabilities. So I think in about 2013 we first set up. 2012 we first set things up. Storm was the first player, the only player. We had a great coach who was very experienced in VI, and kept saying, look, don't worry, more will come. It takes a long time, and we did. And over the period of sort of 2 or 3 years, we got a team, and I think now we've got probably 27, 28 players, 2 teams. We look at it slightly. It's not just about blind cricket. That's very important, but it's what the sport can do for, blind people, should we say? And that's a big part of what we think about Surrey in terms of it's not just a sport. The sport delivers other things, as you know, as from your chats before. Yeah, which we'll touch on when we talk to Storm, of course, because one of your greatest quotes is that cricket is always a vehicle to other things, and those other things, hopefully, Aqsa and Storm will touch on. How difficult has it been to set up a club from scratch, Gary, from your perspective? It was difficult, the numbers. You rely on people who have a lot of knowledge in the area. So the head coach, Mark Allen, was very experienced and knew a lot of how to get things. And it's also people like, encouraging the players to reach out to other players. We did a lot of taster sessions with local schools across Surrey and also VI schools. We did some demonstration games at the Oval. So we try to push everything as much as possible. But a lot of it comes from word of mouth. I think we're also very lucky that I think Surrey, compared to a lot of clubs, we're actually, all the people involved in it are cricketers first. So the captain, myself, the head coach, we're all coming from a cricket background. We're based at a cricket club. And I think that is different to some organisations where they're, if you like, a blind society who play cricket, whereas we are more a cricket club that are blind. Also, I'd be interested in knowing, from Aqsa, what's it like over in Pakistan, and from yourself, because you've always played for both Metro and for Surrey, in terms of how does it compare being a cricket club that has blind people versus a blind society that plays cricket? It's an interesting one. But also, Gary, I should touch on this. The family network that you've got around you has also turned that club into not only a family club, but also,
you've had help when you're doing the teas, your wife in Lynn, who does excellent work, Charlotte, your daughter, and you've had help from your mother. Would you say that the family networks help the club?
Yeah, it's actually crazy. So for a home game, we play the home games at a club. I'm chairman Math. I've been there all my life. My dad was there beforehand. As you mentioned, my wife does the teas. She's helped by Storm's younger sister. She helps with the teas. And then when it got too busy, my mother, so Storm's grandmother, came up and she helps as well. From within the club, within the friendly club that we use. The guy who does the ground as a volunteer, he rolls the pitch before every VI game. I think we're probably the only VI side that has a rolled pitch every game.
All right. Well, Aqsa, thank you so much for your time. I know it's the middle of Ramadan and you probably have to go and open your fast soon. So, listen, thank you so much for joining us. And I believe this is your first probably interview outside Pakistan. So tell me a bit about how you got into cricket.
I was a student of Kinnaird College, Lahore. It is a British college. I was studying there, and there was we had sports gala. So at that time, they were taking some trials. I was not aware from that when their trials just take place, and the time was over. I went to my HOD and I just requested her, and she said that how you can prove yourself. I said that the players that you are sending, and if they will get selected, they all are right arm, and I'm the only player in Pakistan team who is a left arm player. So so I just I just took this idea, and then she got surprised. How will you prove yourself? I said yes, just give me a chance. Then she sent me to the trials, and I just gave my trials, and there were 200 players. And then they took some players among 70 players, 200 players. After that, it just took 70 players. Then they have camps 32. Then they have made this final selection for 25 players. After that, then they when it was for the international series, they just only take 15 students. 15 players who are students as well.
So you're picking from 200 players for an international series for the first women's game. Okay, so
for the first international women blind series, which was totally, absolutely effort of our chairman, Dr. Sayyid Sultan Shah. He put such a hard work and lots of effort to motivate the women of Pakistan and across the world, to give the motivation that the women who are visually impaired or whatever disability they have, they can carry themselves if they want to.
Look, Aqsa, Gary and Storm talked about society and how much support they've had, and Storm's been supported by Gary in playing cricket. I hope people don't mind me saying this. Our society is difficult. For some communities, it's difficult to play cricket for a guy, let alone a girl or a woman. How difficult was it for your family to accept that you were going to be playing cricket?
Well, if I talk about only my family's, mashallah, so liberal. They were not into problem like why you're going to sports. Why? Because I am into acting before I was being to acting, singing, modeling, and all other activities I was doing before, and they got crazy that now she is doing something different. I was a basketball player before, so they were now if you want to explore something new, then it's good to have. But there were some friends who were caring for me, but they were don't play, you will break your something. That it was a problem. But if I talk about the society here, the mentality, it's just all over the same across the countries to countries. It depends on the people who are literate, who have awareness that everyone should have freedom for everything. So they just motivated us and they supported us. The women should not be sitting at home.
Storm, would you say that our training facilities are pretty good in this country?
Yeah, I've been to a few places where they are very good facilities. They have sports halls and usually very good nets.
Okay, so let's talk about you. You've got your cricket, you've got your team in Surrey, you're playing in the team, and there are some matches that you weren't playing. where you're looking on and learning from the seniors. How did that then lead on to international cricket? Because that is a different game.
Yeah, well, I've been playing cricket for a while, since I was like 8 years old. I was playing VI cricket, and I think then that's how I sort of started getting to know John Garbett. Then I think a couple of years after I started playing, he asked if I wanted to go and try it out at have a training session at with the UK Women's, and that was down in Reading, and I sort of got involved with that, and then it kind of developed into training with them and getting to know and getting to be part of a team.
Aqsa's talked about picking them, the Pakistanis picking from 200 players. What's our setup like?
It's not like that at the moment. We're not yet, I don't think we're yet recognised by ECB, but it's sort of inclusive environment. Everyone has a go and is allowed to develop in their own time and in their own way. Yeah, it's a very different environment than getting carefully selected.
I think we've probably only got, it's about 400 or 500 VI players in the UK. So women, I'm guessing probably 30, 40 we may have.
Right, yeah. I actually think that's still an achievement by our standard, and it'll only move forward. What series have you taken part in, or what have the England blind team, women's team, have been up to so far? And both of you can touch on that, Gary and Storm.
Well, we had that Barbados tour in 2018. We went over to Barbados and played against the West Indies ladies team. Yeah, we won that, didn't we? Yeah, and then since then we've sort of just been kind of going over things that didn't go so well there, and we've mainly been working on fielding techniques and where to stand and how to get the ball back to the stumps in the most efficient way possible. And yeah, we've just been developing our skills and honing in those skills.
I think the West Indies tour was a fantastic opportunity. They played, I think, 5 games. One of them was a day-night game.
2 of them.
2 of them were day-night games. That was a really interesting thing, because Storm, who her vision is more around contrast, was maybe one of the, not one of the better players in a day game, but especially day-night games. It was around your eyesight and your level of seeing.
I was just darting everywhere in the field because I could see the white ball against the black background really easily. So I was going from like one side of the pitch to the other, just like.
And then some of the more established players who were getting runs beforehand were almost, were struggling. So it was really kind of interesting. And for me, looking on, it really showed me the difference, the sight classification, and how people can really struggle with the different light and things. And I find that really interesting, that day-night game and the rest of it. But yeah, we had 4 other games and played across the Barbados. It was really interesting, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Did you win all 5 of them?
Lost 1, won 4.
And what category player are you, Storm?
B3.
Oh, we got quite a bit of a battle going on here then. A B1 against a B3. Now, Storm, do you mind me asking a bit about your sight loss journey?
I was born with a myriad of conditions: albinism, nystagmus, and astigmatism. I couldn't see very much when I was younger. I haven't really lost much sight, but I think at some point that may change, and my astigmatism is starting to get a bit more worse.
So Storm struggles with, unless there's contrast.
Yeah.
So you can see something very small, if it's against, something white against black, like you mentioned before, the white ball, dark sky, that's great.
The way I like to look at it is it's like looking through the wrong end of a really fuzzy pair of binoculars, and everything's really far away and but it's on a much closer scale. So things that should be in great detail aren't in that much detail, and feel like they're far away.
Aqsa, are you still with us?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, brilliant. So talk me through your sight loss journey. How did you lose your sight?
I was a basketball player in my school. So I had a match domestic match in Islamabad with the school, because I was a champion over there in my school. So a basketball hit my retina and I lost my sight back in 2012.
So you were fully sighted?
I had a little bit problem while writing, while reading, but it was just a normal problem, like the normal sight. Like my eyesight was good enough. It was so good. I was doing everything.
Oh dear. So a basketball hit your eye?
Yeah.
And you lost your vision, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've talked about the selection of how you were selected in the squad, which seems like a really, really tough process. Your first series was against probably the number one women's team in the world, Nepal. What was that like, and how many matches did you play?
Like the series was for 5 matches, and it held in Lahore, in Islamabad, and in Bahawalpur. In Faisalabad. So yeah, it was good series. I have learned so much. I'm an all-rounder. I did bowling, and I took 2 wickets.
Brilliant. And you're a B1 player, right?
Yeah, I'm a B1 player.
So you played all 5 games?
Yeah, I played all 5.
Okay. And do you have a domestic system where the girls can play cricket?
Oh well, it's the initiator, and they have took this initiator very first time. Firstly, we have played domestic matches. We have played like they have made a team from Islamabad and Lahore. We have played the match back in October 2018 somewhere. We have played in Faisalabad, and then they made some practice after that. We have made practice. Then we have played for international series, but there is not yet some clubs are made where we can go and have practice. But here we have to do everything by our own. Like we have to make practice. If we want to play, we don't have such grounds where we can go. We are not authorized anywhere. So for the international series, our coaches and our instructors, they were so good enough who made us international players.
I saw somewhere on YouTube where it said that with your training, you were waking up at 5 a.m., training till 6 p.m. Is that true?
Yeah, it's absolutely true. Our training was for 20 days before the international series back in December 2018. The temperatures were -2 or 3 in Islamabad. They just wake us up in the morning around 3 to 4 a.m. and they used to say let's have breakfast and all that. And at 5 a.m., all players were in the ground, and it was all white. The ground was covered with the snow, and that was so hard. That was so hard to walk over and to run and make some exercise on ice because it was so cold. It was so cold.
And you weren't allowed to drink tea?
No, not at all. We were allowed to take tea at our breakfast, but in the middle of exercise, the middle of practice of cricket, we were not allowed to have anything. We were having breaks, and like the lunch break, we were allowed to go for the lunch, and at that time we were allowed to go and have water. No water between that.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Storm, I mean, the England ladies have also travelled, and I must give credit to those in the past as well. Change Foundation, formerly known as Cricket for Change, who've done some good work in the past with women's cricket. Beth Evans, who started off the women's cricket. Where do you see women's cricket going once this lockdown's lifted? Where do you see blind women's cricket going from here?
It can only improve. I hope that at some point we will get the recognition from the ECB and become England, because at the moment we're just the UK women's. And I hope that sort of allows us to make bigger steps towards a better team. But yeah, I hope that we get to a stage where we're playing more countries and doing more tours like the one we did in 2018.
You talk about recognition. How do you fund for your tours then? How have you been funding for the tour of Barbados?
Well, we got sponsorship from Manpower. There was a lot of standing outside train stations and collecting money. I think it was Michael Parsons did a lot for us there. He collected a lot of money for us to go. It was a whole team effort, everybody raising money for us to go to the tour.
And there were also grants. I mean, the Primary Club, the Brian Johnson Trust. There was a lot of charities that provided grants to assist, I think it is, as well.
Yeah.
And this is going to interest you. Aqsa, how are the women rewarded if you're playing a series? Talk to me about what you told me earlier.
Pakistan women cricket is recognized here, but they have very, very limited budget. and the budget is so low, which is funded by the government. There are different brands who are supporting, who would like Serena, PC, Hotel, and Pepsi, gas and petroleum companies, and channels, some international channels. They supported us. Interlope is the company, is a brand who supported and financially supported us for our international series. The payment, it was all dependent on the funding, and that they have paid us for the domestic matches and the international matches, but the payment was still low. It was not that much, or we can be take this as a profession.
Right, but you're still rewarded. So am I
Yeah.
right in saying that you were paid for the Nepal series?
Yeah, we have paid for Nepal series. We have paid 5,000 per match.
Presumably that's coming from the Blind Council and Suzanne Shah's hard work.
Yeah, it's absolutely hard work of the management of whole team of Pakistan Blind Cricket Series, and it's a whole hard work of Sayyid Sultan Shah. Even in the team, there was lots of people who were like discouraging the women blind team, because now women are they're fragile, and all, and everybody don't want that the women who are disabled and the women who are dependent, that they should be standing in the ground.
Aqsa mentioned that I think you said you lost your sight when you're 2012. When you're playing, do you find it sort of easier? Do you usually have some sight? You can visualize what's going on, or do you think it's more difficult? I mean, Storm has had no better sight. You know, she was born with this condition, and I'm just interested. Do you think it's, you know, is it not easier, but is it more effective playing cricket having had the sight, or do you think it's a concern for you?
It's just like, it depends on your practice. Sometimes I felt like I wish I could have my eyesight back. When I miss some ball, when I miss something, or when I miss some catch, when I hit the ball with the bat, I used to have 2 scores, because we won have 2 score. So I was being thankful to God that He made me blind, because now
Your score's doubled.
Yeah, my score is double, and I have like a runner. I don't have to run for my score.
So you're thankful. Yeah, and I think, Gary, can I touch on that? I think that's a question I've never been able to get to the bottom of it, because I've had friends who've lost their sight later on in their lives, and I've had friends who lost sight from birth. And it really does depend on person to person.
The reason is because the people who have sight in their initial age, they are practiced with doing their works and tasks with their eyesight. And the people who are by birth blind, they have just improved the skills of their hearing senses, and the sense of touch.
Storm, imagine if you would put blindfold on you, you will first maybe look up for the ball, whereas I will listen for the ball.
The women we have come from different areas of the country. Is that the same with you? And how often do you meet? Do you meet like to train?
We had only the training was last time back in 2019. In early 2019, like January, when the series take place. After that, there was no training till now.
Oh.
Like a year is gone. The girls, they are practicing by themselves at their homes, at their grounds, at their places where they are.
Yeah, that is a concern. I asked Storm what the future looks like for the England team. I did see somewhere on YouTube that the ambition for the Pakistani team is to play England. Yeah. Have you heard anything about what might happen next with the Pakistani women's team?
Actually, it's just like Sayyid Sultan Shah, he put lots of effort to make this team. The outcome is just like the players, they are willing to have more. They want to show more, that they have courage to do. But you know, the facilities, the platforms are not that much that they can like prove themselves. So like everything they have to do by their own. I can say that the future can be bright of Pakistan women blind cricket if the players and the management and the government of Pakistan work with us and support us. Then there will be a bright future.
Storm, So Aqsa's a B1 player who bowls and bats a bit. What's your skills? What do you do in the team?
I'm relatively good at bowling. I think I'm more of a bowler than anything else. I have a relatively good sight compared to the rest of the team. So I'm used in the field as sight and as, that person in the field who can see, so I can go further back, like towards the boundary. I'm working on my batting, but I think I'm a stronger bowler than I am a batter.
Storm and Gary, you can touch on this, but from a parent's perspective, what has cricket done for you?
The teamwork, determination. Those are two key things. Confidence. Those are sort of three things that you really need in anything you do in life, whether it's job, whether it's social, whatever. And to me, blind cricket has really developed that sort of skills for Storm. She would potentially be, someone who was pitied at school, looked down on, should we say?
For me, cricket has been a really big part of my life because I've been playing it since I was such a young age that I've grown up just having these skills that it's taught me. So having that confidence and that independence to do things I'm doing things that a lot of people my age haven't even considered doing. I've been to different places all over the country playing cricket, and I've been to different countries, and I've played in the outskirts of the Oval. All of these things that have made me who I am, which are experiences that not very many people my age have got the chance to do. So I'm very lucky in that respect, and it has made me who I am and the better and more resilient person that I am.
I think there was one other person who I'd also credit Hass, and that's yourself. And I want to tell you a little story, which is when Storm was a lot younger in school, she would go in the next day and would be saying, people would say, what do you do? Oh, I was playing cricket. I'd help an England player. Because at the time you were playing for Surrey, and one of her roles was to make sure you went from one end of the pitch to the other. And none of us really realised that the amount of confidence that gave Storm, that actually she was needed. She was wanted. There was some guy who played for England, but she was needed by him, to help him, and the whole team atmosphere, etc. To go into school next day and say, I was playing cricket for Surrey, and I was playing with an England player and chatting me afterwards and helping. That was really very powerful. Do you agree, Storm?
Yeah.
That is the right answer, Storm. But listen, I'm an advocate for the game, but I'm also advocate now, definitely more than ever before, women's game. But also life skills. Look, I think it's fair to say, Storm, you were very quiet, which you still are, but I mean, it's given you confidence, right?
Yeah. I've grown as a person, and I have more confidence to kind of speak out. At one point in secondary school, I was talking to one of the people in my class, and he was talking about something. I can't remember what he was saying, but he was saying about how I have an eye problem, and I was like 11 then. I turned to him, I was like, I don't have an eye problem. I have an eye condition, but it's not a problem. And it's because of cricket that I had the confidence to say that and to stand up for what I wanted, for what I believed.
Oh, that's phenomenal. Okay, Aqsa, what about you? What's your ambition, your personal ambition going forward?
Personally, I always wanted to be a singer, international recognized singer. But due to the society and all of those things, I could not make it. But somehow I think that I will make it in the future. But the second goal, what I have made, that was to be a lecturer of some university of English language subject. So I have completed my education in Canadian College. I did my BS honors in applied language, English language and linguistics. So now I am. The cricket is my aim now, and now I want to work for this. I will work hard.
Like I asked Storm, before you were playing cricket and now, what difference has it made to your life?
Okay, the difference is the cricket made me who I wanted to be. It's just like it gave me confidence. It gave confidence to me and to my parents that I can go alone. I can work. I can walk alone. I can travel alone. I can do whatever I want. I don't need anyone's support. It's just like I can do everything by my own. It's independence. Just roaming in the crowd. It's running in the crowd. It made me so much motivated, and it made the society where I live. It gave courage to the society as well.
Okay, so my final question to you both is, Do you both want to play each other next? Pakistan,
Sure.
England, in
Yes.
England?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Definitely in England.
Who's going to win?
The person who will make more practice. The team who will make more practice.
We'll get England practicing in the snow.
You mentioned about getting up at 5 a.m. or starting training at 5 a.m. going till 6 p.m.
Yeah.
We have difficulty getting Storm up by 6 p.m.
Okay.
And I think it's the social side, and I know we're coming towards the end, but it's the social side of the game has also made a difference to all of our lives. What about the social side? How is the social side for you, Storm?
Oh, it's
cricket?
very social actually, because we've got women from all over the country, so we don't really see each other very much. Like we do some of our training sessions are like just the south and then just the north. But when we do come together, it's usually done over a couple of days, and then we have that social aspect. So we hang out in the hotel and we have like a social scene, and it's really interesting to like communicate and talk to people who are from different backgrounds and have experienced different things.
And what about you, Aqsa? Is much social side in the Pakistani team?
Yes, we had a good, very, very good time over there when we were in the camps. We made so much memories over there, and I came across so many different cultures, even in Pakistan. I made friends, and we had such a good time over there. And the best thing about cricket, it gave me recognition across the world.
I want to thank all three of you for your time. It's been fascinating. I hope to watch both teams in action soon.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Thank you.
Very interesting.
Yeah, thanks, Hassan. Thanks, Aqsa.
Yep.
Thank you so much, both of you, and the organizer of this interview. Thank you.